Hello.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. I feel like I'm alive.
You were a zombie when you walked in here this morning.
I usually don't feel the effects of not having caffeine, but this morning on the way in, I was, wow. I was like, I cannot wait to get there and have a cup of coffee.
What would you have done if I'd been out of coffee?
It would have been a really rough podcast recording.
You would have just left. Been like,
I would have been like, you know what? I really have nothing to offer today. You're going to ask me a question, and I'm just going to say, did you know the moon is not a planet? Just on repeat.
She could barely get the word coffee out, you guys.
Yeah, Krystyn was like, do you want some eggs? I was like, I need coffee.
Okie dokie.
Coffee. I'm just dying over here. So anyways, yeah, I'm glad because I had this nice, beautiful cup of coffee. And that's all I really need. I'm not a 8 cup of coffee kind of person.
You just had 2 shots of espresso.
But I'm only halfway through my coffee.
There you go.
I'm a slow coffee drinker as well. Jeff and I, it's so funny when we go and get coffee, he will always get a large or a Trenta or, all of the different, that just made me think of the Paul Rudd skit where he was like, I'll have a large. And she's like, a tall. And he's like, no, a large, a fucking large. Like, I just want a large coffee. Don't associate any other word with it. Have you seen that skit?
Nope.
Oh, it's really funny. But I am a slow coffee drinker. Like, it could take me all day to drink. Like, I will reheat this multiple times, or I will take a coffee that's been sitting out and turn it into an iced coffee at that point. Jeff, gone within 20 minutes. Just sucks it all down.
Yeah, Charlie's we'll sit down, like if we go to a diner. Like we went to a diner last weekend, and he sucked down like 5-6 cups of coffee.
Yeah,
just one after the other.
Yeah, no. I usually never get coffee at a diner because I just don't feel that it's worth the money. Because
it was good coffee.
Slow coffee drinker.
Gotcha.
But I do like a good espresso. Like I made one the other day and the kids were like, "Can I taste it? Can I taste it?" And I was like, "Sure." And I don't put anything in my espresso, and so it was super bitter, but delicious. And the kids were all like,
that was very graphic. Charles made her an Americano this morning.
Yes.
When we got our espresso machine a couple of years ago, he was like, "You know how to make all these drinks?" I was like, "Oh.
Yeah.
You can just hold my barista apron right there, buddy."
Yeah. Bringing it back.
Bringing it back, right. A lot of people have either coffee corners or liquor corners in their houses.
Yes.
I feel like that's
I thought you were going to say in their neighborhoods.
In their neighborhoods. I always used to joke, I'm like, I need like a mini bar in my car. Highly illegal, by the way. But
they frown upon that.
They frown upon that. Not for me, but like if I'm passaging, also frown upon. But, like if you open up the dashboard, the glove compartment in the dashboard, and then there was just like a little, like a mini bar.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to have snacks.
You'd have to have a limo. That's what that is. It's a limousine.
Yeah, but I just want it in the front seat. And I don't even really drink very much. Like hardly ever.
Yeah.
But still. Well, I would also kind of talk about a little bit about what we're talking about today. We're talking about coffee corners and liquor corners and sacred spaces. So let's welcome everybody and then we'll get into it.
Alrighty.
Welcome to Two Mystic Mamas. Do you think we'll ever get sick of saying that?
No. What is your new affirmation of the day?
Ooh, my affirmation of today was, I am worthy of what I desire and I am worthy of receiving it now.
I am worthy of what I desire and I am worthy of receiving it now.
Right. And so this isn't about material things like cars or possessions. This is more about inherent worth, right? And so if my body craves rest or my body calls for a quiet moment with my journal and a cup of coffee, I deserve to honor that today. And I still, I might have to fit it into my day around, non-negotiables. But just knowing that I don't have to earn everything by crushing myself into the ground, that I'm already worthy of it.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
So sacred spaces.
Yes, ma'am.
Also rhymes with trading places.
Was that a show? Trading Spaces was a
Trading
show.
Spaces.
Was it like a HGTV kind of thing? I don't know.
Yes.
I'm terrible at this.
Yes. And then you actually, yes. And you would make over someone's space.
Oh my God, we should do this.
So like, yeah, well, we would be very good at this, but
oh my God, we should do
the
this.
premise of the show though, if I remember correctly, was they were strangers and maybe they had like a little bit to go on, but not a ton. And so there were a few where the people that received the newly updated space did not like it. Because naturally that would make for good television. But we would be very good at that.
Okay, so we would like pick a space in our home, give each other a budget.
We should honestly just let the girls do each other's rooms.
Oh, that would be fun.
Because they would kill it.
Oh, this could be a fun thing to do this year.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because we still have stuff for Emmy's room because we were going to do that as like the Christmas idea, but then it just took on a life of its own. And I kind of got to the point where I was like, nah, this isn't fair. Like we could do all of the rooms, like the kids could remodel each of their bedrooms, but I don't want to turn it into like a Christmas thing. And so there were a couple of things that we bought that we did not gift to Emmy because I was like, we'll just hold on to it. Because you can't really remodel a room with a child that lives in your house unless they go away for a week or something.
Right.
So I was like, how are we going to execute this? Like she wanted to paint and do all this stuff. And I was like, no, this isn't feasible at this
That's
moment.
what I was going to ask is how big of a remodel are you talking about? Just paint and like new furniture or just redesigning the furniture that's
well, she's
there?
kind of waffled back and forth. Like, so there are some pieces in her room that we had from a previous project when we were going to turn the home that we owned in the city into an Airbnb. But this is going prior to Isla, right? So, and then we ended up selling that home because I got pregnant and who knew that 2020, but again, everything happens in divine time. And I was like, oh my God, thank fucking Christ that we sold that house because then Jeff got laid off for a period of time. It was such like a weird space. So that being said, we have some furniture that really it's just mismatched furniture. And there's something about having like a bedroom set that just looks like it all comes together. Or you can refinish furniture, but you collectively make it look a certain way, right? So she has a vanity that's coming, that's an antique from a neighbor, my mom's neighbor, that has like a mirror. And we're going to repaint that because it's super dated.
That's
but
cool.
she wants everything to be white.
Same with Evie.
Yeah, the girls, I'm pretty sure, have colluded on this. They probably have shared their Pinterest boards. And, she wants fake ivy across her ceiling. And she wants one of those hanging chairs that you need to find a beam that you can drill into. You can't just drill into the ceiling and hope to God it holds your weight because it won't.
The girls were attempting to do that at our house one day because we had bought the chair.
It was during the pie for breakfast.
It was.
And then Evie had a melt and then you were like, I was like, I don't think this is the right time to be doing this, guys.
She did have a meltdown.
Yeah. Remember she was hostess with the mostest until.
Oh my God, she was so great. And then it all broke.
Which we can all relate to. I mean, I have been at my own. I remember being at my own wedding, having the thought go through my brain of, I never want to do this again. This is so difficult and overwhelming. I had to remove myself at least twice, if not 3 times, from the energy of the party because I was having such a hard, I was like, you need to enjoy this. And all I was thinking is, I'm fucking miserable. Like it was just so overwhelming at times to be on, right? Like you are the focal point of this whole party. Everyone is talking to you. Everyone is looking at you. And I was like, like I started like twitching out where I needed to just remove myself. And that actually was great advice from a friend of mine that was like, don't forget to be on the outside looking in. Like take space. No one will actually know that you're not there. They'll just think that you're off taking pictures or talking to somebody else. And go to a space where you can observe it from the outside looking in. And I was so grateful for that advice because that was very helpful to regain composure and center myself, like recenter myself and ground myself.
Right.
Because I did love my wedding, but it was a long day. It was an intense day. There was so much going on.
Yeah. I love the way that we did our wedding because it was just small, close.
Oh, your wedding was great
friends
too.
And family.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel overwhelmed by our wedding, which was nice because my first wedding, I definitely was overwhelmed by the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Evie definitely learned that day about hostessing, being a hostess, and what that requires. Like, she was so excited to take it on.
Yes.
And then...
Yeah. Well, you have to just kind of go with it. And it's like anything else with kids, especially the girls' age, where they get in the beginning of something and they start like showing off, so to speak.
Right.
And you're kind of like, why? But you have to experience it to learn. Because I used to be the same way.
Right.
I used to show off all the time. We would have these huge Labor Day parties at my house, and to the point where it got so big that people were coming that my parents legitimately they had no idea who they were. But it was all outside. But I remember just thinking I was top dog. Like, I was the big cheese, and I'd walk around the party like, whatever, like, look at me. And there's some very good VHS videos of Rachael in all her glory.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Evie learned that she doesn't like a lot of people in her space. And I don't think she had realized that before then. Like, it's different when it's Emmy and it's just the two of them are hanging out.
One-on-one.
And like, whatever.
Yep.
Mikasa, Sukasa, right?
Yep.
And that, when she had like a bunch of different kids and like everybody's
touching,
like
going
pulling
through
everything apart and whatever.
Yep.
She struggled with that.
Yep.
Because that's her sacred space.
Yes. Thank God as adults, we kind of tailor that back and have a little bit more respect because
right.
Fucking toddlers.
Right. Kids don't. Well, the other thing though, and we've done this since, is created a hang space that's not her bedroom.
Yes.
And I think that that's important, that she has that space to go to that is just hers.
Well, can you think about it if I came over or you came over and you immediately went to my bedroom and started like going through shit? I'd be like,
start going through your drawers.
Yes, like I'd be like, I'm sorry.
Oh man, watch out, Jeffrey. I'm coming for your drawers.
Well, that sounded I mean,
not those drawers,
Jeff.
The physical drawers that you pull out that hold things.
Coming for the big D. The drawers.
Watch out, Jeffrey.
Yep, Charles. You heard it here first.
Oh my God.
What if Charles has a dream now? He's going to wake up
real
mad at you.
Oh no, I'm going to be on the receiving end.
Yes. But I think that is so true, because like kids' rooms naturally are where their toys and their books, and that's where you would go, right? But when you think about that as an adult, that it's the same feeling.
Wild.
It's the same feeling that she got, right?
Right.
So yeah, sacred spaces are just that. There are sanctuaries, there are go-to places, there are places of rest, of relaxation, and you don't want strangers or people, even people you trust.
Right.
You don't want people going through your shit.
No.
That just feels like a violation.
And for me, it's more of an energy thing.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like, it's not about the things so much as it about people's energy touching my space.
Yep. Don't touch my space.
My energetic space.
I think it's valid.
Out of here if you got nasty negative energy.
Yeah. Or and I do though, the violation thing keeps coming up, right? For me. Because I wouldn't want somebody going through my jewelry and going through.
Right. And they do that and then they
makeup.
put it down and it's spread to the wind and then you don't know where it's at.
Yes.
And yeah. That's 100% how kids act.
Yeah. I mean, even last night we were at a party and Isla, when my father asked her how the party was, she's like, I destroyed the playroom.
Oh my God.
Like, she was so proud of it. It's like she went in and like her whole goal was to fuck it up as bad as she could.
I went into their sacred space and I fucked it up.
Isla, not cool. Did you clean up? No. Oh, okay. Remind me not to invite you over to my house, Isla. Even though you live with me.
Don't come.
Don't come over to my house. Well,
I
and
couldn't
she's
even
been
get it
doing
out.
such a good job of keeping her room picked up and clean. Because I've really been trying to explain to the children. Emmeline has gotten it. Isla's gotten it. Graham, he's not in the boat yet. But when you put things back where they go, not just get it off the floor, but you actually organize, there's so much more flow energy-wise. And so you wake up in that space. You go to bed in that space. When you go to look for an activity, it's where it's supposed to be because you took the time to put it there.
Well, and then you don't create frantic energy of like rushing around looking for something because you don't know where it's at.
Right. And going,
Right.
like I did that the other day with the kitchen. We have a very full kitchen. I cook, we cook all the time. So we have appliances on the counter. We have a coffee space, but even the drawers we
Jeffrey.
have coming for you with utensils. I think going through that once a year, maybe every other year, and just being like, when was the last time I used this particular tool?
Oh, you're not supposed to do that every month.
Krystyn, this is how you end up with 2 forks and 5 bowls. Okay? No.
Yeah, that's exactly how you end up with 2 forks and 5 bowls and nothing else.
And nothing else. Minimalistic, not realistic. Those are 2 different things. Do you want to come host a party? Okay, bring your own fork.
Bring your own fork, please. And I don't like single-use shit.
Mm-mm.
I'm not on that. I'm not on that train.
You're a little bit of a contradiction, a walking contradiction here.
Yeah, because I don't like single-use. We don't buy single-use anything
Mm-hmm.
yet. I don't exactly have enough forks.
Just utensils in general.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into some sacred spaces. So what you got over there, lady?
Well, I made all sorts of notes because I was thinking about the sacred spaces that exist within the world, right? And within the natural world. I was thinking about sacred spaces that we create in our homes. And that kind of led me to Feng Shui tips as well, which I remember as a part of my journey as a teenager, getting really into Feng Shui.
Me too.
Really?
I definitely got into Feng Shui in college for sure.
It's
For
so
sure.
interesting.
Oh, yeah. Where you sleep has to be in the farthest left corner of the room.
Well, I do remember one is that, and I don't do this now, is that you're not supposed to have beams going across you when you sleep, which we do, but there's no other way to make it work in my room.
Yeah, I mean,
And the
literally
other
you
one-
have beams, like
Really?
hanging beams.
But no, wait. These ones are okay because they go lengthwise. They don't go across. They're not supposed to go across your body
Oh, I got you.
and intersect you. These ones are okay. I forgot that.
Because they're in line with the way that your body
Exactly.
okay.
But you're not supposed to sleep with the foot of your bed facing towards the door because that's how they would lay out bedrooms when people would die, is they would put them in their beds and then they would open the door and they would have the bed facing out so people could walk by and see the dead. Kind of like how we do viewings now.
Yeah, but I thought they used to do wakes in the home, but not in the bed. They'd put them in a living room or a foyer kind of area.
I think this was before that. This was for the family.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and you can use mirrors to reflect bad energy out of the home so it doesn't come in. If it comes in, it can reflect back out.
Right. There's certain areas. So basically, Feng Shui is a system of laws that govern your spatial arrangement and your orientation in relation to the flow of energy.
Flow of energy. Yeah.
Right,
And it's
so-
based in Japanese?
Chinese.
Chinese. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Eastern medicine, Eastern processes, Eastern practices, there's so much validity behind it.
Well, I mean, it's all about the chi, right? Which is life force energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Which is same with Reiki.
Right. It's just different terminology.
Right.
And there's slight nuances, obviously, to each of
Mhm.
them. So in Feng Shui, they use items like you were talking about, mirrors, crystals,
Prisms.
sunlight, prisms, colors
Mm-hmm.
to amplify the chi energy, right?
Correct.
And promote joy and success. And if you've ever walked into a nail
Calm.
salon
Mm-hmm.
and you've seen certain trinkets near the door, that's based on Feng Shui.
Yep. Yep.
I have a Lucky Cat magnet on my fridge.
I have a whole thing that my girlfriend got me when she went to Japan. to bring in good fortune.
I love that. And that's a thing in this country too is the pineapple, giving someone a pineapple when they move into a new home.
It's a welcome symbol.
Mm-hmm.
But an upside down pineapple
means let's get it on.
with somebody else.
Marvin Gaye.
Swingers.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Anyway, that's a whole different kind of sacred space we're not going to get into, guys.
We don't need to get into that space.
But I thought we could revisit.
That would be fun to interview some swingers.
Stop it.
Oh, man.
They're going to want to get in Jeffrey's drawers.
It's probably true. Oh, bless.
If we ever go on a cruise together, I am definitely, hear me out, I am definitely going to prank the shit out of you and I'm going to get a pineapple sticker and put it upside down on your door because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know they have cruises
if
just
you are
related.
a swinger, no offense to you, but the culture and the symbols that they come up with are hilarious to me.
Yes. Did you also know, in talking with another friend of ours who is single and ready to mingle, and he said from his native land of Australia.
You just gave away all the information.
I know.
You're like, I'm going to be very cryptic and then tell you everything.
Well, I could be talking about his brother. We don't know.
Which we've also said his name.
Yes.
So now you have already said who it
That's
is
right.
because you said it could be his brother.
If you are single and want to date a very sexy Australian, let me know and I'll give you his information. If you go to a grocery store and you put certain fruit in your cart, it's a symbol of I'm single and ready to mingle.
Well, that's what the upside down pineapple in your cart is the same thing.
Right. That's what I mean. But it can be a banana, a peeled banana.
I have to peel the banana in the goddamn grocery store?
I think that's what he said.
What does that symbolize?
And then a peach, like an open dick.
So wait, the guys do the banana?
Yes, and the girls do peaches.
Do I have to peel the fucking peach too?
I mean, how do you peel a peach? You can't peel a peach. Well, you could, but no. I think the peach just symbolizes
the butt cheeks.
That's right.
So you're going to the grocery store looking for butt
What's
sex?
a fruit that is representative by the vajayjay?
Papaya.
Oh, yeah.
I answered that way too quickly.
Yeah, you did. The Bird's Papaya? You know that podcast? Sarah?
I follow her on Instagram.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Does that have to do with the vagina?
No, but I think it has to do with feminine phenomenon. It's a phenomenon.
Oh, man, we're just bringing all the girls out. Okay, that makes sense. But also the vagina, because it looks like a vulva. She would go down with that anyways. I mean, she wouldn't.
What are you saying?
Bless it all. If I had any chance of having her on the podcast, that ship might have just sailed right out of the ocean.
Welcome to Sacred Spaces.
The papaya.
Where we talk about vaginas and papayas.
And peeled bananas and upside down pineapples. So we're now just making a fucking fruit salad. Let's go.
That's a whole different thing. Now you're bringing salad into this. Come on, Rachel.
And if you didn't know, the moon is not a planet.
God damn it. So let's just swing this back around.
Swing.
God, fuck.
Swing it on back.
We can't even get out of this.
No, you
We're just
can't.
stuck here forever.
You're on a swing. You're literally on the swing.
Oh my God. I have a sacred space.
Please do tell, Krystyn. Just expand on your sacred space.
Oh my God.
Bless it all. Just maybe read verbatim what you have.
I can't even read my notes.
You're like so serious. You were like, oh, I have a sacred space. Let's ground ourselves back into this space. God bless. We're not making much sacred about this podcast at all. No one is going to be like, I feel like I'm on holy ground.
Thanks so much, guys. All right. I do have a couple of spaces in my home that are sacred to me. And I have things that I place there to help amplify the energy, right? So one is my entryway. Now, if you have children or a husband, that's a Sasquatch, then you have a pile of shoes in your home. But if you will notice, my pile of shoes is much smaller.
I did notice that when I came in.
I took Charlie's 25 pairs of shoes he keeps by the door and I put them downstairs.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but some of them, I'm like, some of these are getting tossed. You don't ever wear them. Let's clear the clutter out, right?
Yep.
And others, you're not going to wear until it's warmer.
Correct.
So they don't need to be here.
Yes.
So having a flow of energy right in the entrance of your home, even if you don't use the front door, if you use the back door, whatever.
I was just going to go with it because yes.
I can't get myself together.
I mean, you're just.
I'm so special today, you guys.
I'm not even going to indulge.
Mm-mm. You looked at me though.
I did, but not because of that.
I'm going to get serious. You can't.
I don't know how much of that is absolutely true. I'm going to get serious.
I'm going to get serious.
Nope.
I'm super serial, guys. Okay. So by my front door where I have decluttered all of the things, I keep a dish full of pink Himalayan salt. And I have a bunch of herbs and a bunch of crystals. And I had sent some intentions and kind of done a spell for 2025 there.
Mm-hmm.
And I laid a candle there, if not every day, like every other day, just to keep that energy moving and flowing. And then I have my altar space, which I go to multiple times a day. I have lots of tools that I keep there. And it just feels so good. It's like one of those spaces that I can just go and feel the energy literally moving through my house. And that's where I'll light incense and pull my tarot cards and just have a space for me, basically. But my family does use it too. But everybody knows, don't put anything on the altar. Don't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's like, intentional.
Sure.
Obviously. And then I keep a meditation corner in my bedroom as well, so that I have the egg chair that we've recorded in sometimes.
Yep.
And so that's a sacred space that I can go and I can journal and I can meditate, and the whole family uses it when they need to.
Mm-hmm.
And my office has become the same way. So my office has become a sacred space for me as well.
Yeah. I think it's also that the act of rearranging or repurposing things too, to create some of those sacred spaces. Because like for me, one of my sacred spaces is in my bathroom. Right. So we just
talked about this.
Yeah. I've just been way more intentional with making sure my bathroom is more put together and picked up than I have in the past. But I've put candles in there and incense. I have sage in there. I also have found that it's a really great place to do meditations because there aren't any windows in there and I can close the door and it actually is quiet. And where our house is located, sometimes doing meditations in other rooms, it's more difficult to drown out the noise unless I have noise canceling headphones in. But sometimes I don't want that. Sometimes I really just want to not have anything on my body electronic wise, but yes, I'm listening to something. So that has been one space. Naturally, my she shed has been a sacred space for me since we've got it and we got it put on the property. And that I can't even tell you how amazing it is. It serves for so many different things. It's a sacred space for the podcast. It's a sacred space for me working professionally. It's also a sacred space if I want to have clients come and do any sort of tarot readings. It's such a special place. And I have created that sacred space,
That's
right?
so
and
cool.
So the things that I've put in that, the energy that I clear out of that, I think it's really great to create whatever those spaces look like for you. And it doesn't have to be big or massive. It can be very simple. It can be very small, but it's just a place where, you go to find rest and calm. And I was thinking about this when I was prepping for this podcast episode. And I kept thinking of the word sacred and the word holy kept coming up. And the word holy for me, growing up, naturally, I grew up Catholic, and there still are so many wonderful memories going to different churches And different churches definitely had different energy. There's absolutely no doubt about it that not every church is made the same and not every church has the same energy. There are plenty of churches that I have visited throughout my journeys that when you walk in, you feel the energy. You know that it's a sacred space. And it doesn't even need to be a Catholic church. It can be a synagogue. It can be a mosque. It can be any type of sacred space that is held for the reflection of whatever divine energy that is being held sacred there.
Well, I think that's a good point too, because if you look at other cultures, you know, the Druids were known to worship in oak groves, right? And Buddha was attained enlightenment under a tree, right? Like the Bodhi tree. I don't know if I'm actually pronouncing that correctly. And these were sacred spaces that were not under a roof, right? So if you have a smaller home, like Rachael and I do not have very large homes.
Nope.
So, you know, we live in a 1-bathroom house and we still find ways to create sacred space for everyone in this home. It's about setting the intention of your space and allowing yourself to have that.
Yes. Emmeline keeps trying to get me to let her have candles. And I'm like, absolutely not. You can have a diffuser.
Right.
You can do incense. There's no fire burning in your bedroom. No chance.
Yeah.
But I'll be safe, Mom, said every 11-year-old girl.
You could get her one of those incense, like little houses.
Fairy lights. Like the fairy?
No, like an incense house that she could put the cone inside. So
no, I don't mind the incense. I don't mind her having incense.
You don't have ash going everywhere.
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah.
That is the downside.
Well, I have an incense holder that you actually, it's like a bottle that was hand blown into the shape of a moon. It's actually cool. And it's got holes in it, but you put the incense in upside down.
Yes.
But I found that it really doesn't work. I don't ever use it because it goes out so fast because it doesn't have enough oxygen to keep burning.
Yes. So yeah, I was thinking just about sacred spaces growing up and what that looked like and felt like. And then I was alternatively associating my practices now with different things that also were similar to growing up in the church, you know, an altar and what practices were done on that altar during the service, during the Mass.
Right.
And certain prayers that were said repetitively, incorporating music into the services, right? And these are all things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I do this all the time.
We infuse ritual in so many ways we do not realize.
No, and it's so interconnected. I loved that part of it. I love that part in general of life, of how interconnected we really are as humans throughout history and just how beautiful that truly, truly is. And then it also made me think of, to your point, you touched on it a little bit, sacred spaces that exist in nature that indigenous tribes used to do and hold space for all the time, which made me think kind of how fun it would be at some point, because so much colonization happened when the Europeans came over to America to colonize, and we didn't hold space for the history that was already here. And I know that there were so many indigenous people of this land that we live on and inhabit now, that channeling that energy, and we're going to have a guest on actually that is a professor at a local university that does a lot and has a lot of knowledge in this. And I wanted to incorporate that into talking with him too, is just the history of Western Pennsylvania when it comes to the indigenous tribes and some of their sacred and holy places that they had in this neck of the woods.
Yeah, I would be really interested because in being somebody that has that background, I don't know a lot about this area or kind of like what resides here.
Yeah.
And I find it super interesting.
Yeah, there was, where my grandparents lived in Connecticut, there was a very, very sacred rock that we would go to when we would go visit. And I can't remember the tribe and I can't remember the purpose of it other than I was young, but I remember.
It wasn't Plymouth Rock, was it?
It was not fucking Plymouth Rock. I don't think that's the indigenous people I'm talking about, Krystyn.
No.
But I find that stuff to be fascinating. And it's really when people say, you know, the history of America's not that old. Yes, it fucking is. We just did a really shitty thing when we came here and didn't respect the folks that were here and what history was here. And we rewrote it all. And I think that is something that I have come more to recognize and want to hold space for, because I think that's really important. And they connected so much with Mother Nature and so much with this earth and what this earth provides and gives us, which is so beautiful and so common sense.
It is common sense. And I sure want to talk about this on the podcast because it like breaks my heart to think about. And when I think about connecting, like I connect a lot with my ancestors and guides, and I feel a lot of understanding and light from them, but also like I still feel so much pain. And I just think that there's, I don't know, it's hard for me. I think it's harder for me to talk about.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
But to your point, there's so many amazing, beautiful sacred spaces in nature. And even if you look at like temples and churches and altars and things that you're talking about are built on like sacred geometry principles too.
Sure.
For the same reason. And then if you look at the ley lines, then that's a whole nother set of, you know, mysteries of the earth that are supposedly connected by these, you know, invisible lines, right? Well, they're points.
Well, they're energetic.
They're energetic. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, we can't forget about the polar vortexes. Well, they're not, like, no, the energy.
But
the
like
energy.
the pyramids and Stonehenge and all of these places were meant.
Machu Picchu.
Right.
These are all temples and structures that were created by humans to be sacred spaces.
Supposedly humans, right?
Supposedly humans, yes. Yeah. Well, in henges, I was listening to another podcast about that. Henges are only found in the British Isles.
I know. It's super interesting.
That is like what they are known for. And this particular woman, she was talking about how it was like really pissing her off that she couldn't find henges anywhere else, true henges anywhere else in the world. But then she came to the realization that that's because it was just the British Isles. That was their... Right. And it predated the Druids. The Druids used Stonehenge, but it was created 2,000 years before the Druids.
Right. And these are...
Which the Druids were, whatchamacallit, pagans.
Right. And these are sacred spices.
Sacred
spices. Sacred sites.
We could incorporate sacred spices into sacred spaces. Say.
That are aligned with the Earth's energy.
Yes. Yeah. And the Earth's energy is ever changing, right? Like we're seeing this right now with all the planetary alignment that's happening and how it's like fucking with the Earth.
But I walked outside.
Not in a bad way, but like it is definitely jacking with energy for sure.
I walked outside 2 nights ago. Evie and I walked out and the stars and the planets were so brilliant at like 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yes.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, if we didn't have to be somewhere, I would have just stayed there.
Yeah.
And watched it.
I know. Well, and I wish, we have so much light pollution too that we don't even really see the night sky because of the light pollution.
Right. When I do astrophotography, I travel for it.
Yeah. I mean, you have to. How can you not?
If you are in Western Pennsylvania and you do want to gaze at the night sky, I suggest you take about a 4-hour trek into Pennsylvania to Cherry Springs State Park. It is I think it is the darkest spot on the East Coast.
Is that out by Penn State?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
And there's
it's farther
a ton of astronomers that are out there. They have stargazing fields, no light pollution. You're not allowed to have white flashlights. Like it's red lights only. It's on my bucket list.
Oh, well, let's do that.
I want to go and get photos there.
Can you camp?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But this is something where you have to be there for like hours and hours set up beforehand because you have any light.
Yes.
This is like a preparation thing. You can't just like roll in and be like, I want to see the stars.
Yes. But you can glamp?
I don't know if you can glamp. I mean, there's a campground nearby that we can take the camper.
That
I
sounds
don't
so
know
good.
what the I don't know what the camping situation's like there. Well, I think let's leave them with some tips on how to create a sacred space. Let's give you guys some practical, actionable steps that you can take to create a sacred space for yourself. Number one, we've talked about all the time, declutter your space, right? Allow the flow of energy. When you have clutter in, even if it's in a corner or if you have stuff underneath the bed, energy stagnates there.
Yep.
And you want to keep that life force energy moving. You want to keep it flowing. You don't want your life to get clogged up in certain areas. And if you do really want to get into it and you get into Feng Shui, different positions in your house and cardinal directions stand for different areas of your life that get clogged up due to
life.
Due to life, right.
I mean, it's true. Like, we get busy.
We do. So that's one. I think also we mentioned setting an intention for your space, right? Verbally, mentally, placing a meaningful object there, crystals, anything like that, clearing and cleansing your space with sage, Palo Santo. These are all ways that you can like very easily and quickly start to create a sacred space for yourself.
Yeah, and depending on what you're trying to accomplish, to Krystyn's point, like in my bathroom, I have 2 pictures of me from different phases of my life. Mostly, well, one's from my teenage years and one's from my adolescent years. And that is because when I am in that space, a lot of times I am trying to work on inner child and shadow work, which stems from inner child work. They're all connected. So that's usually my intention when I'm in that space, is to do some work in that regard. And then when I'm in the she shed, I have different pieces throughout my life that trigger really happy memories. So I have a lot of antiques. I have a lot of, some would consider it tchotchkes, but just different things that represent really great places from my life. I have awards from different jobs that I've had, and I have pictures. I have art that I've created throughout my life. I have plants. Plants are another really great thing to have in your sacred. Now, I don't have plants in my bathroom because, again, there's no light in my bathroom, but I do incorporate plants throughout my home in a lot of ways. And that's something that I find to be just very enjoyable. So you don't need a lot to create a space that is sacred for you. And that can even be your bed. Like, your bed can be sacred. Behind my bed is a windowsill, and I put a lot of different rocks that I've collected and crystals, just pieces of jewelry that also are special to me that are made of something. I have these earrings that I got when we were in the Cayman Islands, and they're Caymanite, which is a semi-precious stone that is only found on the Cayman Islands.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Yep.
That's
and
cool.
So I put those earrings on my windowsill because naturally the moon and the sun are ways of cleansing rocks and crystals and anything that you use from that perspective. So
anytime that you can incorporate elements into your space, you're going to naturally boost your space. And that's earth, air, fire, water. If you are incorporating Feng Shui principles, I believe they also incorporate metal. So earth, plants, you could use wooden decor, fire, candles, warm lighting, anything like that. Earth, again, with pottery, crystals.
Oh, stoneware, pottery.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Metal objects would be like chimes or anything like that that kind of, resonates with you. And then I would say mirrors and fountains are both good for water because they keep that flow going. And air, using incense, opening a window every once in a while, just like getting the
flow
go. And you can use sacred colors too, right? If you have a color that you really like, if you're like, okay, this is my space and I need to heal in this space, right? Then going in with like shades of blue, which is healing, and white
purple.
and right. Or if you're trying to enhance psychic ability and you're trying to, really listen to your intuition, purple is really great for higher consciousness. If you are trying to bring abundance and prosperity into your life, then shades of green. If if you're trying to boost confidence and feel more aligned and speaking your own truth, yellow.
Yep.
And
those correlate to the crystals too.
Crystals, chakras. Yeah. I mean, they all witchcraft, like those colors transcend any of these practices.
Rainbows, prisms, disco balls.
I love disco balls.
I know.
I have to buy it.
Okay. I have to buy it.
It's a disco ball.
We had a baby, it's a boy.
Oh, disco ball diffuser.
Ooh, where did you see it?
I need to have it in my life.
Home Goods or something?
I haven't seen it in the flesh yet. I've only seen it online. It was on somebody's Instagram reel.
Oh, man.
I need to have that in my life, though. You guys,
essential oils are also really great. They will raise vibration of your space and of yourself. So, again, don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it.
Oh, don't overcomplicate it.
Don't like that sentence I just made. Keep things simple. You can always build on whatever you create. And also, the act of what you're doing is tapping into your creativity too. So naturally, when you start creating a space, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel the energy shift. You're going to feel the flow start to shift. And your mind's about to be blown.
I am redoing 2 spaces in my house. So I'll share those on Instagram as they kind of progress and share with you. We've talked about how I'm redoing my office. So we have a podcast space.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side of that, I have decided to create a manifestation wall. So that entire wall that's behind my desk is going to be a manifestation wall. So I have plans for that. And then the wall that's behind me right here is getting completely redone as well.
Okay.
So we got plans.
We got plans.
What's the moons and stars and celestial stencils all over it.
Oh, that's pretty.
With giant curtains.
Oh, I was thinking of the Ludacris song. I was like, what's that song that's like, we got plans? It's we got hoes in different area codes. But I feel like we could redo the words to that, to sacred spaces. But I don't know. I'm not that creative. You're going to have to come up with the lyrics for that.
Perfect. I'll add that into my plans for today. You guys, thanks for being here with us today. I know we went off the rails, and that's just part of our charm.
It really is.
So we hope you enjoyed a little laugh, because things have been a little heavier here recently. So
it feels good to be light.
Yeah.
And I think I'm glad that you touched on that, because when things feel heavy, this is a great practice to incorporate, to make things a bit lighter, but also to have reflection and time to listen. You know, that's the one thing that I also wrote down a lot, is when you're in these spaces, it's a time to do a lot more listening than it is to do talking. And that can even be your brain, not necessarily your voice that has a unique frequency. But when you're with yourself and you're going in with the intention to create, manifest, clear, cut, well, when I say cut, I mean cut cords, energetic cords. Clear cut, but clear psychic debris, and to take away any stagnant energy and transmute it to the light. That is what I say when I have my sage or my Palo Santo, is clear this space, take any negative or low frequency energy and transmute it to the light. And I just say that over and over and over again, because it exists. It's not like it just exists over time. And so when you share spaces with your family and you share spaces with other humans that come into your space, you just have to clear this. You got to clear the air. You got to clear the energy. And so that's the other thing too, is when you go into the space to have any sort of ritual, whether it be a meditation, whether it be a prayer session, whether it be a journaling session, whether it be reading tarot cards for yourself, clear the space before you do anything else. And you can do that with crystals. You can do that with Palo Santo. You can do it with sage. You can do it with a candle. There's lots and lots of different ways that you can do that.
You can do it with vodka spray that you send with your kids to school.
It's no longer vodka spray when you add the essential oils. It's now perfume, motherfucker.
Oh, okay.
Perfume. It's perfume.
Soul Data Tito's. Got it.
Soul Data Tito's. Oh, bless. Oh, and what was my favorite Bath and Body Works? It had the word amber in it. What was the vintage Bath and Body Works spray that had the amber word vintage? In it? Sensual amber.
Sensual amber? It's like sexual vanilla.
I know. God, this makes so much sense.
I'm going to start calling you sensual amber.
Sensual amber. Oh, bless.
Can we go as sexual vanilla and sensual amber for Halloween this year?
I can't even believe it. That is so funny that was the name of, yeah. Oh my God, you can buy it on eBay for $129.
Oh my God. Dollars? And it's old. Come on.
Gross. All right, on that note, don't go spraying sensual amber all over your body.
Don't go chasing waterfalls of sensual amber, you guys.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
All right, get out there today and create some sacred space for yourself, no matter where it's at. Even if you're standing in line for 3 hours at the DMV, create a sacred space for yourself there. Bust out your Tito's, your soul dated Tito's. Have yourself a time. Mm-hmm. We love you guys.
Love you.
Bye-bye.